welcome to
Two Girls, One Book Club. We were almost there.
It's been a hot minute. We didn't film anything last week because we got a bunch of stuff going on. And we also didn't really see each other last week, which was depressing to say the least.
I was gone for...
It was so rough. Because I'd seen you... We were together Wednesday. Not last week, the week before, weren't we? Because I'd worked for Jessica. You weren't there. We worked together Tuesday, and then you weren't there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I couldn't go in Wednesday because I had to pick my parents up or something. I had something going on. And then I didn't see you Thursday. I saw you for like 15, 20 minutes Friday. Saw you for a little bit Sunday.
Wait,
and then
did you see me Friday?
I brought you bagels.
Oh, that's right. You woke me up. Like, Eric comes in. He's like, Raven's here, and she brought you bagels, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting up.
No, he literally, I opened the door, my kids are standing there, I have a box of Einstein bagels, and he just looks at me and goes, hi, Raven. I was like,
I forgot to tell him that you were coming.
And I brought bagels, and he goes, thanks. And I come in, and Oliver just goes like this, he gives the chocolate milk, and I was like, oh, and I brought Ashley chocolate milk. He's like, thanks, and then he like talked to me for a minute, he goes, do you want me to go wake her up? And I was like, sure.
Yeah, I forgot you were coming. I did not sleep that night because, the events of the night before. So, yeah, that was great.
And then I just saw you you were here for like an hour or something on Sunday, and then nothing until yesterday.
And I jumped in your arms.
Yes, it was sweet.
It was great. I am not a hugger, and Raven has told everybody that I hugged her. She's so excited. She's like, I have 2 now.
2 hugs.
2 hugs, and you might get one for Christmas. If you're lucky.
If
you're a good girl.
If she's my secret Santa, I will get a hug. She's like, I'm not buying you anything. You get a hug. That would only work for me and Willie. Everybody else would be like, what the hell, Ashley? I spent $20 on the Secret Santa for work. We're just like, a hug. You'll appreciate it more than this $20 gift.
Exactly. Yeah, hugs give me the ick, dude. I don't, just don't touch me.
So, this episode is real sweet. So, this week we are doing The Trade
by Kai Stevens.
And we love her. And
so
this
much.
is her new book. So, this is the one that we're doing the giveaway for.
This podcast will come out on the day the book is released to the public,
which is August 15th.
Yes.
And we will announce the giveaway winner on our TikTok and our Instagram. So, if you entered, watch it there.
Yes.
You'll find it.
Yep.
It'll be great. But we read this book. We got this as an ARC, and so it was good. I read it that weekend.
I just finished it yesterday.
I read it that weekend because I was like, I have to.
I think you finished it before Springtide, didn't you?
I did. I read it before Springtide, yeah.
Yeah. And I just finished it yesterday, and we got into a fight yesterday over it.
There's going to be some of these books where, I feel like
you're going to hate If You Had Been With Me. I know
we're going to fight over that, but I feel like we just need to do all these fight ones, in a row. So we have to do Lucky Hit next week, too. We'll do If You'd Been With Me and Lucky Hit because and then we'll find one that we both like and we'll get back on track.
I hate Oakley so much.
I don't care.
Dumb name.
My aunt named her dog Oakley.
My sister-in-law's dog name is Oakley.
What kind of dog?
I have no idea what kind of dog.
This one's like a golden poodle, golden doodle. So this book, The Trade, I will read to you.
The thing. What's it called? Synopsis?
The synopsis?
Baby. I love the little things that she puts, though. For all the people out there who were led to believe they're not enough. Me! That's why I have to tattoo it on my freaking hand.
Yeah.
To remind myself that I am. Even though yesterday I said I was not. 1,000,000 times over.
So, in this book, they're juniors in college, and Jade is a writer. She's on the school newspaper. Her editor won't give her the sports section, and she's supposed to write about lifestyle and stuff like that. And
the dumbest things.
The dumbest things. And she really wants to be a sports writer. That's her goal, her mission in life.
Because she likes sports balls. I have things that I've highlighted, and it's going to be great.
Older brother is an NFL player, but...
Wait, is the Bobcats a real team?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyway, so her brother is an NFL player, but she doesn't advertise it because she doesn't want people to, like, try to use her to get to them and stuff.
She also doesn't want to use it to, like, be like, let me write for the sports section because my brother plays professionally, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and then we have Theo. And Theo plays
West.
He goes by West because that's his last
Theo,
name.
Though.
Jade calls him Theo, so same
not
person.
His last name. His last name's Westman Cook.
Yeah, I hate the Please never hyphenate your last name if you ever change it. Just fully change it.
I will never change my last name, and let me tell you why.
Can you imagine if I had hyphenated and I was Raven Smith Wenzel? Tell me about the post.
Okay. Anyways, I saw this thing once of this lady who had like her PhD. And she said that she didn't take her husband's last name because she didn't want it on her degrees because she went to school and not him. And I was like, I love that. So, I have a college degree.
Nice.
With my last name on it.
So
but I am also not married.
So, we have Jade who writes and wants to be sports reporter. Her editor won't let her. Theo plays sports.
He plays football.
Yeah, this is sport. So, he plays football. He's
trying to get drafted.
He wants to draft early, and his coach tells him no. He is also dyslexic, and
like specific kind of dyslexia.
Yeah,
I didn't highlight it.
I don't know if I did, but
I did read the end of the book though, like the little thing like about the author. And she, like, writes about neurodivergent characters because she's also neurodivergent. Yeah. And I'm like, I probably am, too. Something's wrong with me.
I love Kai.
So do I, because I like that she puts those characters in the book.
We also have a third character who's pretty important in this book. And she has...
Wait, who's the third one?
Shan. Yes, Shannon.
Shenanigans.
So, Shannon. So Wes has always liked Shannon. Well, he just wants to sleep with her, honestly. The book starts in fall term. He says he wants to go up for the draft early. His coach says, nah, you're not doing that. And then he is like all bummed. And we have Jade, her roommate is moving out. Her older brother, what's his name?
Micah.
Her older brother, Micah, doesn't want her to live alone. So she decides she will find somebody to be her roommate. And then she ends up meeting Shan. And Shan moves in and is her roommate for the spring semester. And Shan is on the cheerleading squad. And Wes has wanted to be with her, but he's also been like cooking up with other girls on the cheer team, and she lives in like a house.
The spirit
with
house.
all of them, the spirit house. And so he hasn't like wanted to go after Shan when she's still living in this house.
Well, they've also been friends for 3 years.
Right, and so then when he finds out that she's moving out, he's like, perfect, I can do this.
Yeah.
So then
I think we should mention what the trade is.
Well, we will. So then that all happens fall semester, and then we get to spring semester. And the football team for their spring banquet does what's called the trade.
The trade. So messed up.
It was freaking messed up. And I was like,
okay,
how did Kai think of this? And also, I'd be pissed.
Because she is a genius. Okay. The trade's sort of a tradition for the Dayton football players. Every year, the upperclassmen secretly agree to swap dates at the spring banquet. It's mostly harmless. Guys with girlfriends can opt out, but they must stay an off-limits rule, or their girls are fair game. It's our little secret, a game with only 2 rules. Take someone else's date home and don't speak a word of it to anyone outside the team. The reward for pulling off a successful trade is well worth the effort. Mm-hmm. Boys are so dumb, and I hate them so much.
Yes. And
I could not have been born a lesbian.
So then West meets Jade for the first time at the library.
Yeah,
because she and Shan are studying together. Okay, so this is when they meet for the first time. So, like Shan introduces them, says this is Jade, we're new roommates, and then Wes is like, I suppose she's a cute face, like, meh, she's fine. Look, you look so much taller than me. It's only because I'm sitting, like, on my butt.
I know, like, I'm, like, sitting up as tall as I can.
So then, she says, this is my friend West, and is like, oh, he's on the football team. And then Shannon says, Jade's a huge football fan. She's got posters of the Bobcats all over her apartment. Do you know her? And then Jade interrupts and is like, no. So then Shannon says, sorry, what I was trying to say is that Jade loves football. And then Theo thinks.
Calls her Jersey Chaser.
Yeah, well, so he's like, I'm sure Jade really loves football, just like every other supposed fan at the Stamp school. In fact, I bet she's been to each and every game just for pure love of the sport. And so then, it's so funny because then, well, Shannon introduces him as West, and then Jade's like, what's your name? And he goes, or what's your last name? And he goes, it's Westman Cook. Jade says, your name is Westman. And he goes, then she asks him, like, what his first name is, and he goes, Theo. And then she just calls him that for the whole thing.
Except for
when they fight.
She calls him West.
And I was like, it was rough. Yeah. So he calls her Jersey Chaser, and she's like, pit. Well, he says, well, like, in front of her, he's like, where'd you even find this girl? And Shannon's like, she's my roommate.
They met at camp.
And then she's all pissed, and she leaves, and Shannon's like, why are you being rude? Like,
yeah, Shannon
being
gets
a
mad
jerk,
at him.
And then she says, Jade's a reporter for the Daily. She probably just got herself into interviewer mode without even thinking about it. And he's like, well, shit. Now I really feel like a dick. She's like, you should. And you guys have, like, a lot in common. She's really cool and stuff. And then he mentions that, like, he kind of wants to be with her or whatever. She's like, no, you don't. And she goes, you're not interested in me. And she's like, oh, and he goes, yes, you are. Like, you're everybody's type and whatever. And she goes, oh, I see. So when you say you're interested, you mean you want to sleep with me? And he goes, yes. And whatever. So then he's like, you need to tell, or West is like, will you tell her sorry? Like, tell Jane sorry. And she's like, nah, you'll tell her yourself. And so then his plan formulates for the trade. So, as Ashley explained, the trade is at their spring banquet. They each bring a date. If you're with, like, a girlfriend or somebody, off limits. But otherwise, you bring a date, and then you try to take home somebody else's date and sleep with them.
And his friend Cam and him have agreed that they're gonna, like, he's gonna take Jade, Cam's gonna take Shannon,
and then
so that they can switch, and Wes can leave with Shannon.
Yep.
So messed up.
Yeah, so messed up. And he deserves what is coming to him. So,
true.
Then he and Jade start, like, talking and hanging out and stuff.
Well, he asks her to tutor him, like, to help him because of the dyslexia. So he's like, can you help me, like, write this paper?
And it's really sweet because he's like, oh, you're a writer and, like, you help me or whatever.
Yeah.
And so then he has to, like, awkwardly tell her. I'm trying to find it now. Do you remember what it is?
No, I didn't highlight it, but
I find it.
Yeah, he, like, awkwardly tells her that, you know, he's got dyslexia. It's, like, a specific kind, and he has to use this, like...
So he asks what happened is he fails, like, a paper or something. And he has to keep his grades up.
Oh,
yeah.
No. It is a failing. It's not a C-.
So he has to keep his grades up, and she's a question. So he, like, tries to talk to her. Oh. she says you need to properly cite your sources and check for errors. And he's like, I had my tutor look over it, and the teacher's kind of a turd, actually. So, if he doesn't keep his grades up, he can't play, but he also loses a scholarship, which he needs so that he can pay for this. So, then he's like, will you be my tutor? And she goes, I don't know.
You're kind of an ass.
That. And then she says, he goes, you're a writer, Jane. Could you take a look at my paper? And she goes, oh, I don't know that I really have time for that. And he goes, I'll pay you. I mean, I can't really pay you, but
I'll bring you iced coffee every day.
Every day.
I will take that as payment for
and
sure.
She goes, okay, yes. And then so then they make a plan for tomorrow. They exchange numbers, and she says, like, text me if you need a bail. And he's like, I won't. And he's like, no, really, like, I'm not gonna bail. You're saving my life and whatever. And then Shannon is like, Jade's a really good guy. Or not Jade. She says to Jade, like, Wes is a good guy. And she's like, I don't really care. She say, he's a good guy. And so they're at the library, and it's really sweet. So she starts looking at what he wrote, and she says, like, you've got good ideas. Your writing mechanics could use, like, a bit of a polishing. And she just calls him Theo, and he goes, West. I correct her again. She just keeps calling him Theo. And so then she gives him some tips about it. And he's like, well, can I just put a comma there? Like, ask one of those questions. And she says, do you want to try to fix up your intro and then we can go over it together? And he goes, I can handle the actual editing part later. And then she gives him some more notes and says, okay.
She's like, it'll be easier if you just edit as we go.
Yeah, she pushes the laptop to him and was like, just do it. And he goes, no, I've got it. And he's like so embarrassed though. And then he like snaps at her. Was like, I can damn well remember your pointers outside these four walls. And she goes, that's your choice then, but I think I should probably go. And then he goes, why is it I'm always putting my foot in my damn mouth around this girl? So then he tells her, and he's like, I can't edit my writing spontaneously like that. I use dictation software to write my papers. And she's confused. He says, dictation software, it's a speech-to-text tool for my computer. I voice my thoughts and it types them out for me to edit later. And he says, I'm dyslexic and dysgraphic. Is what? And he says it affects his reading and writing, but also fine motor skills among other things. Okay. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, okay, I'll help. So then she ends up like helping him edit the paper.
Yeah.
And is like, you just tell me what you want to do, like I'll type it for you. And I was like, oh. So then they become friends, and then they're just like hanging out, doing this more. And I highlighted, she goes into Shannon, and she goes, I have really bad news. Shannon's like, what is it? And then Jade says, I think I might have a teeny tiny crush on Wes.
I highlighted that too.
And then she's like, Shan says, are you sure? She goes, I let out a frustrated sigh, covering my face with my hands. I don't know, I mumble from behind my fingers. I think so. We were just studying in the library, and I kind of asked him to ask me to kiss him.
Oh, that was so awkward.
You asked him to ask you? She goes, it sounded complicated. We didn't end up actually kissing, but now what do I do? And it's so funny. So then she's like, I like him. And it was really funny because then in the next chapter, Wes is like talking about, he's gonna like ask her to the trade and whatever, but now he's like, yeah, to the big
But then
one.
he calls it off.
And he's like, I'm not sure. Well, he says, but like before, I didn't really care who got my dick wet.
I highlighted that too.
I was solely focused on getting drafted and finally going pro. Now I want to get drafted and I want to kiss the shit out of Jade.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
I highlighted that too. I want to go over some of my highlights from the beginning with the Fred guy because it made me laugh so hard. Okay, first of all, Kai got me so good with Jade's chapter because it's West and then Jade. And it starts out with, I'm down on my knees for the 5th time this week. And I read that sentence and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, this sentence got me at first.
Yeah, you're like, what do you mean?
I was like,
down on your knees doing what?
Excuse me?
Right.
Jeez, woman. But I thought it was so funny because she goes and hooks up with the Fred guy and he's like really boring and lame. Let's see. Okay, so he's like I think he's like going down on her. He's like fingering her, and she's like, "The sensation is strange, oddly reminiscent of my last visit to the gynecologist."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, that's so bad."
And then she fakes it, and she's like,
"He's like, did you come?" And she's like,
and then he
and he's like,
goes to bed.
And she's like, tries to return the favor, and he's like, "I just liked watching you." I was like, "Ew."
Like,
no, thank you. She's like, I'm gonna fake an orgasm for this guy, and I was like, I would have just been like, leave. Okay.
So then he, as in, what's his name? Theo.
What's his name? We have blankets now because Ashley is cold.
Actually. So Theo invites Jade and Shannon over to watch UFC fight because he's trying to get Jade and Cam to kind of like bond, so then it'll be like perfect for when they do the trade. But after that night, they leave and West goes, "Trade's off.
I like
we're
her.
done." So
she's actually is really hot.
And he goes, and you can repeat that to anyone who might give a shit. And he's like, "Are you joking?" And he's like, "Does it look like I'm joking?"
Yeah.
Like, okay. So,
but he still takes her to the banquet. He just doesn't want to trade her anymore.
Yes.
What a nice guy.
So then she's like trying to find somebody to sleep with, and he's like, "What about me?" She's like, "What do you mean?" So then he's like mixing sex and friendship and whatever else. It's just too confusing. And he says, just don't go for Miller, okay? Which is this guy on their team who's like a man whore.
Yeah.
So.
And she's like, "Oh, are you just going to veto everyone?" He's like, "Yes, Jade, if anyone's going to get you off, it's going to be me."
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, damn."
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Good job, Kai.
Yeah.
So then she said, well, because he tells her, like, if anyone's going to get you off, it's me. And then it's, like, from his point of view, and he says, I mean, seriously, what kind of dipshit says those things to the girl he likes? And he's like, why did I say those things?
Pet boys say stupid things to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just dumb.
But then he says, I want to be her first choice, and not just because she thinks I can scratch her itch. I want her to see me, to want me, as a man who's developing real feelings for her, and not just some athlete who can show her a good time. And then the next chapter, it gets sweet, and she's like, I'm stuck in a vortex of conflicting feelings caught between what I want and what I know is best for me. She says, I know I like you, and I can't have casual sex with someone I have feelings for. And he's like, I don't want casual sex. And she's like, all surprised. She's like,
oh yeah, see, I was like,
don't?
That was so fast. Like, I just felt like they're like, I don't like you, I kind of like you. We know how I feel about
yes.
and insta love. I freaking hate it. Hate it.
Well, and then
but you skipped over a cute part from West. Hold on.
I'm in chapter 14.
I don't know what chapter it is. It just says the page. Where he's like, you know, according to her, our friendship would only complicate things. Well, fuck our friendship. No way. I want our friendship. I want to make her laugh, make her smile, make her call me by those goofy fucking nicknames. I always feel bad because your kids are here. My kids hear that and so much worse. I want to spend time with her. I want to keep figuring out what makes her tick. I also want to kiss her and then take her to my bed. Actually, I just want Jade in any form I can get her. Yeah. I want her to see me, to want me as a man who's developing real feelings for her and not just some athlete who can show her a good time.
Yeah.
Which was cute. And then I also have this whole football thing that you're going to have to explain to me.
Okay.
What does being red-shirted mean?
Okay, so red-shirted is usually it happens when you get hurt because as a college athlete, no matter the sport, you can only play for 4 years in college. And so they can redshirt if it's like I don't know how many like games or meets it is, depending on like what sport it is. But it's like if you were to get hurt and you can't play, like if you got hurt in the second game of the season and it's like, sucks to suck, you're having surgery, you're not going to play, they can redshirt, and that season doesn't count towards their 4 years of like their 4 seasons of play.
Okay. I was like, this is confusing.
So then, anyway, he tells her like that it's not just, he doesn't like stay up all night just thinking about sleeping with her. And he goes, sure, I think about that a lot. Probably more than I should.
I also highlighted that.
Yes. But, like, there's more to it. So then he lists all his reasons, and she goes, but my favorite part was, he says, you make me feel like I matter, like I'm more than just a football player. And I was like, oh,
cute.
It was cute. And he goes, I want more with you. And so then they decide to be more. And it's so cute.
Like, I like you. I don't want to just be your fuck buddy. Yeah. I want more with you. Now I know without a doubt that she's the most stunning thing I've ever seen. I wanted to press her against the wall. I want the deep, meaningful conversations, the excitement of dating, the inevitable clashes that come with 2 strong personalities, and then once all of that's in place, I'd very much like to fuck her till she can't remember her own name. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I know it's still the early days, but I can truly see myself falling for this girl. Yeah. I like when he's like, can I tell you something? Well, or her, and he's like, what's up? And she's like, I like you. And he's like, and I like you, you little dork.
Right. Well, and then I like, that part was sweet. He says, but here's the real kicker. Her body isn't even the most attractive part about her. Not for me, and not by a long shot. And I was like, aw, Wes.
Her brain?
Well, he just likes her for all the things.
Oh. I think people just like me because I'm funny. That's all I got going for me.
Same. But Brian did, we like left at the same time this morning, and I get a text when I'm driving away, and he goes, your hair looks really cute today. And I was like, aw, thanks.
I looked at myself, and I was like, you're doing your best.
I'm like, you can do this, baby. You can just like write like affirmation on your mirror, and it'll just say, you got this, ... Maybe.
You're doing your best. That's what I tell myself. I'm like, I'm just doing my best.
And then,
but I look so pale today. Like I'm on the verge of death. I need to move the mic.
Maybe you are gonna die.
Well, please bury me with this.
I'm gonna tell Brian. I'll be like, guess what action I realized this opportunity.
It really was. My family would have hated me.
That's okay. They've already disowned you, essentially. They haven't disowned you. They're just disappointed in you.
They are disappointed in me. They have been.
I'm disappointed in myself. So.
Every day.
And then Jade said, oh, wait, no, that's mine.
Yep.
And then Jade says, I know our relationship is still so fresh, but I like that there are no guessing games when it comes to his feelings. He's not pretending to be aloof or cool or coy, and that's probably my favorite thing about him, that he's unapologetically himself. He's honest and straightforward. In my mind, he's a complete package. Actually, he's everything I never knew I needed. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, so then they have an interaction with Cassidy, who we hate. And so
hate her so much. I know too many girls like her.
Right.
Someone just like punch her
in
the face.
So I'm trying to find where it is. So they're like out together, and Cassidy says that she's like, are you guys on a date? And Shannon says actually, like, they're together, like, Jade and West just
we are rash, they are just.
And Cassidy says, it's just, that's kind of ironic, isn't it? But I was like, so then Cassidy says, huh, really? And West says, yes, really. I say, my voice carrying on carrying an undertone of exasperation. Then, without hesitation, I wrap my arm around Jade's waist, pulling her gently against my side. A thin sheen of sweat forms on my brows. I brace myself for the ensuing conversation.
This is after they go to dinner with Micah, right? Micah and Shannon. Because are they waiting for Micah to pull the car around?
Yes. Okay. Yep. So they go to dinner with her brother, and they meet, and he knows that, like, Micah plays in the NFL and stuff, and he's like, sweet, but, like, I don't like you just for your brother.
Yeah, and they didn't really talk about, like, football either, because he didn't want to seem like he was talking about himself too much. So.
But my favorite thing was, before they went to dinner, was he goes over to their place, and there's a lot of posters of Micah, and he's like, so, like, that's the kind of guy you're into, like...
She's like, oh.
Like, you'd want to sleep with him? She's like, ew, that's my brother. Like, no, he's like,
I don't like my brother enough to, like, want to... Like, well, not that. I just meant, like, put his picture up in my house.
Yeah.
You weirdo.
So, anyways... So then Cassidy says, that's kind of ironic. And Jade is like, how so? What do you mean? She says, well, when I lived with O'Connor, Shannon, Wes was dating me. But now that you're living with her, Wes is suddenly dating you. And Jade's like, oh. And then Cassie says, what do you think about that, Shannon? She's like, I think it's just a coincidence. And so then she's like, such a funny coincidence, isn't it, West? And so then she's like, so then Theo tries to apologize. Jade is like, it's always hard to see your ex with someone new. And then he has to give her the awkward little, like, well, we never actually dated. We
just hooked up.
And then he goes, are we fighting? And she says, no, we're not. It was just a weird moment. Okay, no biggie. And she's like, okay, we'll talk, like, tomorrow or whatever. But then he goes, when Cassidy implied, it's a twisted, screwed up version of the truth. Yes, I asked Jade to the banquet with the intention of trading her, but it wasn't some desperate ploy to screw her over. Our relationship grew organically, and I regret ever entertaining the idea of the trade. As for Cassidy, sleeping with her as long as I did was a lapse of judgment, fueled only by physical attraction. And so then he goes back and forth about, like, should I tell Jade about the trade? Should I not? Like, yes. What should I do?
The right answer is yes.
Yes.
But he doesn't until it's too late.
No, he doesn't. So then he goes over to her house the next day, and then, so then he's like, I need to tell you, and she's like, no, like, I get it, it makes sense. Why would you sleep with Shan's roommate just to get to her? And she's like, no, I'm serious, you didn't date Cassidy, so I'm assuming you were just sleeping together. And he goes, we were sleeping together, yes, nothing more. And then she's like, but, like, with us, it's more. And he goes, of course it's more. I thought it was clear how I felt about you. And he's like, Jade, you're the one who didn't call me your boyfriend last night, you know, when you introduced me to your brother. And she's like, well, he was already mad, and I didn't want to poke the bear. Also, I didn't know. And he's like, you didn't know? She says, well, we've never used that particular word. And he goes, well, we're using it now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm your fucking boyfriend, you're my fucking girlfriend.
Yeah. And he goes, she goes, so that means we're exclusive? I was like, obviously.
It's like the Kaya and Holden thing.
Yes.
Where she's, like, so blind to the fact that he likes her.
That he's, like, so into her. He is so freaking stressed about this. I think it's, like, a test or a paper, right, that he has to do. Mm-hmm. And he asks her, he goes, do you think you'll still be into me when I fail this class, lose my scholarship, and get kicked out of Dayton? And she goes, you'd still have a slim chance of getting drafted. So, yeah, I think I would. He was like, wow. I was like, it just made me laugh. That's why I highlighted that part.
What chapter was that?
Chapter 23.
Okay.
And then she tells him about the lucky sweatshirt that she wears for all of her studying, all of her tests, and it's one
Micah
that was
it.
Micah's. Yes. And she's like...
I highlighted that because it's like a legit thing where... Right. It's like when I was in school...
And he calls it her magical sweatshirt, and she's like, it's not magic, it's science.
It is. Like when I would study, totally I'd always chew gum. While I was studying, and then when I would take a test, I'd chew gum.
Yeah.
To help me pass tests.
Yes.
Which I did. I have a college degree.
Look at you. So then she gives it to him, and he's like all nervous. He's like, what if I stain it or lose it or something? Like, it's too precious. And she's like, you can take... She goes, there you go again with the dramatics. You can take care of a damn sweatshirt, Theo. So she gives him the sweatshirt, and then she says... You should... Who do you want to be? Do you want to be Jade or do you want to be Theo?
I don't have it. You'll have to share your phone.
Good thing I highlight them in different colors. I'll be Jade, okay? You should really put it on now. Then I can take a picture and send it to Ace.
Yeah, no, that's where I draw the line.
Please, for me.
No amount of begging is going to work on me.
What about a hand job then? Oh, I forgot to highlight that part.
Oh, sweet Christ.
Is that a no?
You want to take a picture of me to send to your brother in exchange for sexual favors.
I mean, when you put it like that, yes.
Sex is not currency, Jade.
Yeah. I forgot. Sex is sacred to you, isn't it?
It is when it's with you.
I was like, oh, that's so
okay,
sweet.
But then he's like, God bless my girlfriend. I don't think a hand job has ever felt this good. And I just put LOL. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Boys. Okay. The football thing.
The football thing, tell me.
Okay. Let's see. Predictably, they chose to receive, banking on their impressive offensive stats. The kickoff initiates a frenzied start to the game. The Ospreys putting up a solid offense, leading to an early touchdown. What's a conversion?
Okay. We'll talk about this. So, at the beginning. So they do the coin toss in the beginning, right?
I know how a coin toss works. Please don't explain that.
Well, so they either receive, which means the other team kicks the ball to them, and then they catch it and run it to try to eat a touchdown, or they can defer, which means then they will receive the ball in the second half. And so then if they defer to the second half, then they kick to the other team. So when you win the coin toss, you get to pick, do you want the ball now? Or do you want the ball at the beginning of the second half?
Wait, which is the better option?
Well, it depends. Because, like, the advantage of having it at the beginning of the second half would be if you're like, losing or it's really tight in a close game, then you could have the ball first to start the second half.
But how are you going to know which option to choose?
You know what? Both are risky. You just got to pick one.
See, I would spiral and be like, I can't choose! Like, no. Good thing I don't play sports.
Okay. So, then the touchdown they get there, the conversion is where they then try to run it into the end zone for 2 points instead of kicking it into the goalpost for 1 point.
Did you explain this to me last time? You'll have to explain it to me every time you make me watch football with you. See. I'll be like, Raven, I still don't get what's going on.
What were your other questions about this part?
I don't know. What is a sequence of crucial drops on the third down disrupts our momentum?
So that would just be like, they try to like throw it or something and they keep dropping the ball. Because once the ball hits the ground, it's dead. And so if you have the ball and you fall or something and the ball hits before your knee touches the ground, the ball has to go back to where it started. Like if
there are too many rules in football.
If this is the football field and you start here and you run clear to here and you run like 50 yards and then you fall and you drop the ball before your knee touches the ground, you got to come clear back to here. But if your knee touches the ground and then the ball goes down, it starts there. On the next play.
Too many rules.
How
am I ever going to remember any of this?
Let me just tell you when the football games are so you can tell me when you want to go. So, anyway, that is what the football thingies mean.
Okay.
So,
back to the book then.
Then, back to the book. Then we get...
You're not doing football quizzing on me again,
Yes, I am.
No!
Austin sent me some questions to ask you.
I know nothing about football.
Yeah.
No.
So then they go to the game, right? And, no, not the game. Duh. They go to the banquet. And, well, she tells him that he's very honest, and it's like a big turn on for her. And then he's like harboring the secret that he doesn't know, and because West sucks. So then he's like, I'll be looking for you in the stands, and she's like, I'll be there cheering for you. And he says, thank you for believing in me even when I don't deserve it. And I was like, oh. But then she's like all confused, and she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't deserve it? And so then she talks to her so then they go to the game. It's just like a scrimmage thing. And it's like when you just play your own team. So like a practice, they'll play like practice games where they divide them so that they can work on plays or stuff like that. Like
yeah, but isn't the scrimmage against Coastal U?
Yeah, so you can play it against other teams too, but you can play it against like your own team, or you can play it against other ones. So it's like a scrimmage they play, but it doesn't count towards the stats and stuff. So it's not like a season game type thing.
Sports are too confusing for my one brain cell.
So
I don't like it.
Then they go to the game, and let's see. And Cassidy is like
being a twat in the bathroom.
Yes, in the bathroom, and is like, she's like, Wes is great in bed, but he'll eat your heart out. and then she says he may be bad news, but he's got some other skills that make it worthwhile. And she's in the bathroom, and they don't know. And then I'm like, oh, Cassidy. And
this is like when Jade kind of gets like all insecure and jealous, right?
Yeah.
She's just like, there's girls like all over you. And
yeah, well, like Cassidy's like, you still have your little thing going on with Wes, don't you? Isn't he just a beast on the field? And she's like, yes, he's my boyfriend, and he's incredible on and off the field. So then she leaves, and she's like, it wasn't pleasant, but like, I'm proud. I stood up for myself. And she goes, Wes is mine, and I'm his, and he's certainly not going to eat my heart out.
Just other things.
Well, I was like, that's not what I was going for.
Oh, well.
But, so then they win, and he calls her his good luck charm, and it's so cute. And he's like, as I embrace my girlfriend on the field, the adrenaline high slowly wears off, and then they go to, there's like a party, and he says, no, I don't want to go, like, I just want to go talk.
Yeah.
Instead, and she's like, we can talk later, thinking that he's not meaning they're going to actually talk.
Yeah.
So then they go to the party, and he tells his friend Can, he's like, I need to tell her, and he's like, you will not tell her. Like, don't do that. And, yeah, so then she gets all, like, because then they're at the party, and
well, he, like, barely talks to her for a week before, because he's, like, so stressed about wanting to tell her, and he doesn't want to, like, you know.
Was that before the scrimmage, or?
It's after.
After.
Yeah,
so they're at the party, and some, like, brunette comes up, and she's like, bye, or whatever, and all these girls just keep coming up to him, and Jade's just getting, like, a little quiet, and she's like, everything's fine. He goes, obviously it's not fine. And then she says, it's just, how many girls have you slept with in this house? And he's like,
all of them.
Sorry, what? She's like, at least half of the girls here are acting like they know you, in the biblical sense. And he's like, probably because half the girls here are on the cheer team. And then he's like, okay, well, that doesn't help. And he says, no, of course I haven't slept with anywhere near half the girls here. I barely even know most of them. They're just friendly with all the football players. And he's like, friendly. Right. And so, yeah, then she gets insecure, and she goes, I'm not jealous. Okay, I'm jealous. I mean, it's so annoying. Why can't you just be ugly? And he's like, you want me to be ugly? And she goes, no, I just want you to be unappealing to the rest of the female population. I was like, this is perfect. So then they have sex in the bathroom. And then he feels
guilty.
Yeah, he feels guilty. And then he feels even worse because then Jade says that Garrett, her, like, the guy in charge of the school newspaper, is letting her write about the banquet. And he's like, oh. So then she starts asking, like, can you give me an interview with this person or this person or this person? And she's like, it works out so great. I was already planning on going with you. So it's, like, oddly perfect. He's like, yeah.
He's like, great.
Perfect.
It's going to be good times.
Yeah. And then she says, Wes has been acting all shades of strange since yesterday afternoon after our little bathroom tryst, where he bent me over, claimed to me, left me breathless. He's been oddly silent, especially after I dropped the news about the article. And so then, yeah, they, like, don't talk, and it's so weird. And then she, like, tried to sleep with him again later, and he was like, yeah, I'm too tired. And they didn't talk, and so he's been studying, and he just isn't, like, talking to her or whatever.
Oh, I think that's the first good girl. He just calls her a good girl when they hook up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So of course I had to highlight it.
Yeah. They go to the banquet, and he's like, oh, you're gorgeous. And she's like, I missed you this week. And he says, like, he's been thinking about her nonstop. And she's like, well, he's just not really talking to me, though. And then they go to the banquet, and he's awarded an award, and it's great. And then she like asks if he can introduce her, right, to the people. That he's like, goes quiet, and she's like, I can put it away. He goes, no, like, nothing you do bothers me. And she's like, then what's wrong? He's like, I'm just trying to get through the night.
He's like, I need air. Goes to the gardens. So and she's like, I'll come with you. And then he just
leaves. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay. And then Emmy comes over, which is one of the girls she's friends with, and is like, where's your date? She goes, he's over there.
Talking to some other girl.
He with somebody else. And she's like, oh. And, like, are you together? And she goes, hardly know the guy. I came here because Shannon told me she would be here too. I mean, I don't mind him not sticking around. I halfway expected it, honestly. But what I didn't expect is for him to go flirt with everyone else. And then somebody else comes over and sits by Jade.
Isn't it Miller?
It's Miller. And he's like, she's like, do you like, are you having a fun time? He's like, yeah, my date's over there talking to somebody else. And then it's like, oh, how did you and, like, Shannon meet? Like, oh, we met in a camp or whatever. And she's trying to talk to him, and then all of a sudden his hand is on her thigh, and she's like, no.
Don't touch me.
And she's like, you're wearing here with Wes, right? We're a couple. And he goes, I doubt he'd mind. She's like, well, I'm certain he would, actually. And then she, like, moves, and she goes, like, she's like, the last thing I want to do is be alone at this party. So, Wes is freaking out in the gardens. She's getting hit on. People are touching her thighs. And it's like, should have just told her.
Yeah.
And so then somebody else comes, and it's like, your date's real hot. And he loses it. He's like, she's my girlfriend. And it's like, then he's like, did you hear any of that? When she comes in the garden, she's like, no, why? And then she calls him out on it, and then says, you know, when you ditched me just now, your friend Miller made a pass at me, and then he's like, gets so mad, he's like, that dipshit didn't get the memo? And she's like, what memo? It's like, that you're off limits tonight. And she starts getting mad. She goes, off limits, I'm not property. And he's like, I know, but, like, you're my girlfriend. My teammates should respect that. And she goes, what about the rest? Should they feel free to just hit on every other girl here, date or not? He's says, that's not what I meant. She goes, really? Because your teammates seem to think there's no line they can't cross. Evie State was making moves on other girls.
I like how a lot of the times you're just like reading things and I'm just staring at you like, you're telling me a story.
Does feel like that.
That's okay.
She's like, seriously, tell me what's going on, and while you're at it, clue me in on why your teammates are acting like predators on the prowl. Is this some sort of sick competition to see who can hook up with most girls? He's like, it's not that exactly. And so then he tells her it's this silly competition that the team has been doing for ages. The upperclassmen try to swap dates during the banquet every year. If you pull it off, newer recruits have to clean your gear for the next season. But I had no intention of trading you.
That makes it better.
Right. And she's like, right, you were planning on it, though, weren't you, when you asked me? And he goes, I was only at the beginning. Like, I called it off when you came to watch the UFC fight. And she goes, oh, before that, you were just trading me with whoever in hopes that you could screw some random girl? And he's like, no. It wasn't going to be someone random. And she's like, what do you mean? Then who? No. Seriously? She was like, this whole thing was set up so that you could sleep with Shan? And he's like, not the whole thing. Not even close. And then he's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking about how much I'd like you when I first invited you. It was supposed to be a casual thing. I thought we'd all trade dates at the end of the night and laugh about it later. I didn't know I'd feel this way about you. And she goes, yeah, you didn't think you could actually like someone like me, huh? Just a jersey chaser wearing an ugly hand-me-down sweatshirt. I mean, I'm certainly no Shannon O'Connor.
Dude, me neither.
And I was like, oh.
Give me all the ugly sweatshirts.
Right, well, then he's like, you're perfect. Like, you're more than I could have hoped for. And she's like, why didn't you just tell me? You had so many opportunities to say something, you didn't. I even asked you point blank if you had feelings for Shan. And he's like, I wasn't lying. I didn't. It was just physical attraction. Like, and she goes, he's like, I made up my mind. I was going to tell you. Like, Cam told me not to, but I was going to. And she goes, I think I'm missing the part where you actually told me. And then he like says that he was going to, but then there's an article and she says, are you trying to say it was for my own good? You wanted to make sure I wrote the article, but you thought I'd bail if you told me the truth? Is that it? And she goes, it wasn't about that, was it? This has always been about you. You didn't tell me because you thought I might write about it. You were worried I'd expose the team. And she goes, do all your teammates know you were planning to trade me? And he just says her name. And I was like, oh. She goes, great to know. Glad to hear it. Do you still think one of them will sleep with me, or am I just spoiled goods now? And I was like, that part hurt my, like, poor little heart.
Your poor little fragile heart.
My poor little fragile heart.
I've had worse.
I've had worse. I know, this is nothing compared to what you showed me earlier. So, then she's like, I'm going to... Then she's like, I'll write about it in the article. She goes, it's only fair play. Let's see how you handle real fallout. And he starts to panic. She goes, I'm leaving by myself. Don't worry about your precious team. I won't put this bullshit in my article. And he says, thank you. And she says, don't thank me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because I won't let you and your ridiculous tradition ruin my career. I'm not going to get kicked off the paper for trying to burn bridges with the team. And she's like, I never knew you at all. And he goes, you did. You do. Sometimes I feel like you're the only one who really does. And then she just says, well, that sucks for you because it's over. We're done. And then she leaves.
And then she goes and gets drunk at a bar. And then she goes home to find her brother had slept with Shannon.
Yes, which was
he
like
came
her
to surprise her.
Thing.
Yeah,
and
she
like,
told him, like, no, and then it happens. And that's like foreshadowing for sure.
Right, well, and then she's like... Well, she shows up, and Shannon is, like, kind of being, like, cagey almost. And then she's like, why is my brother's bag here? She's like, we didn't mean for this to happen. She's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Like, worst night ever.
Pissed. And then he's like, I came to surprise you.
And she's like, well, I'm surprised.
Right. And she goes, I told you not to mess with Shannon. You promised. And she says, and she's so mad, and Shannon's like cowering in the corner, and she's like, she tells Micah he has to get out, and he's like, can we talk about this? She's like, no, get out. He goes, really? because there are only 2 of us who pay rent here, and neither of them is you. And I was like...
And then she said, doesn't she say fuck you or something?
Yeah.
And that was, like, one of their things that they, like, promised.
They promised each other they would never, like, swear at each other or tell each other that they hate each other. But then she goes, the words strike me right in the center of my chest. If it's possible for a heart to shatter into 3 distinct pieces, I swear that mine just did. And he's like, wait, that didn't. I'm sorry. And she goes, you know what? You're right. I'll just leave.
And she does.
And then she does.
And she goes and stays with Garrett, of all people. Well, she actually goes to the newsroom or whatever the heck it's called. And
they're
there,
like the offices.
And he's like,
stuff.
do you need a place to stay? And she's
like,
yes.
But then they kind of like really have like a come to Jesus moment because she's like, why aren't you putting me on the sports section? Like, you're really sexist.
Did I put that in that Marco Polo, though, where we were at the parade and there was somebody with a WWJD shirt?
Yes, like, what would Jessa do?
What would Jessa do?
Yes. So, then, they have a serious conversation for pretty much the first time. And then he tells her, like, I'm pretty much doing this alone. Like, help me fix it. Help me make things right. And I just highlighted this because it was funny. And he goes, like, help me fix this stuff. And she's like, seriously? And he's like, what do I have to lose? And she goes, power maybe, control over your subordinates. He's like, you really think I'm the villain, don't you? And she goes, well, that depends. Are you going to let me sleep on the couch tonight or is it on the floor? And he goes, the floor. I was like, perfect. So then, yeah. And Wes is like trying to get her back. And Shannon, he shows up at her apartment. Shannon's there and is like, I thought, and then she says like, oh, Jade's not here. And he's like, what do you mean? And then he's like, I messed up big time. And she's like, and he goes, welcome to the club. What did you do? Anyway, so then Jade shows up and Shannon's like, we're so worried about you. And Jade's like, we? You mean you and West? Or you and my brother? And she's like, and then West is like, your brother's here? She goes, I don't know if he's still here. Shan, why don't you fill us in? I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, I can't handle it right now. I get it, Shan. I know my brother. I know what he's like. This is what he does. I'm ready to read you. Sure. But I can't blame you for what happened. And then she tells, Shannon asks, when can we talk about this? And she goes, I don't know. Maybe once I've had a chance to digest everything. Maybe when my ex-boyfriend isn't standing there eavesdropping every word we're saying. And he's like, oh, do you want me to leave? Right. And so then she's like, kind of is about like, she makes West think that she slept with Garrett. That's what she says that she was.
That's some shit I would do.
And, oh, yeah.
I'm petty as fuck.
And so then they're like talking about each other. They're talking to each other. Not about each other. And he goes, there's nothing I can do to earn your trust back. She goes, I don't know. But I know I can't look you the same way anymore. And I was like, oh. It was sad. So then she's like, I need time apart. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. And he goes, it's the last thing I ever want to do. I really hope for Garrett's sake that you didn't sleep with him last night. But if you did, just know that it doesn't change anything between us. I want you. I want all of you. And nothing you can do will change that. And so then he just leaves. And then I highlighted this part because it made me sad, kind of. But so then he says, but Jade, she's it for me. She was yesterday, she is today, and she will be tomorrow. No matter how long it takes, I know the two of us belong together. I knew it from the first moment my lips touched hers. This girl unhinges me, shatters me from the inside out, forces me to see the world differently. And I know that she feels the same way about me. I've seen the look on her face every time we're together. Maybe, if I'm lucky enough, someday she'll look at me that way again. Until then, I'll wait.
I highlighted that too.
Yeah.
I like the sad stuff.
Yeah. And so then...
Wait, okay. Whose breakup is worse, though? West and Jade or Luca and Harper?
Oh, Luca and Harper. Just because, like, this was real shitty that he lied. He was planning to trade her because then... But I also think that in this one, Shan and Micah sleeping together kind of compounded it. Because then she even mentions that, like, she's never really felt like somebody's choice. Because she was always Micah's little sister. And then Micah made it to the NFL. And then it was like, oh...
Yeah.
Your brother's famous, right? Type thing.
So she's just like always trying to prove herself.
Yeah, then she feels like West didn't choose her because he was going to trade her for Shanna. And then she gets back and it's like, oh, again, I'm not being chosen type thing. So I think that's kind of what this is. She just doesn't feel like she's like enough almost. But then the things that Luca said to Harper, that destroyed me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this one's rough, but that one, I was like, how do you come back from this? I just don't know, Luca. Like, you done messed up, sir.
Yeah.
And this one, he totally lied to her, but like, I don't know. I think the one in Springtide was worse.
Yeah. Kaya and Holden's isn't even, like, they don't.
So I think it would go Springtide, the trade, and then Fault Line in the order of roughness, heartbreak. Because, yeah, like in Fault Line, they don't really... It's like a break, like a Ross and Rachel type thing, where it's like, are we on a break or are we broken up? Are we on a break or are we broken up? Like,
yeah. I struggle with that one because, like I get that Holden's, like, upset that, like, she went to her best friend over him, but, like, at that point, there's, like, the things I do the same thing!
Right, but, like, there's also the things that, like, at that point, Kaya hasn't said to him, like, about how she pulls her hair out, or she used to be addicted to Adderall, or whatever, you know, and it's like, Elio gets it.
Yeah.
Because Elio was the same way type thing, and it's like, Holden never has.
Yeah.
And so, like, I understood from that where Holden was upset, and like, yeah, you're
but he
justified,
didn't give her a
but
chance to, like...
Yeah, and then he's like, we need to take a pause, but I'm not dumping your ass.
Yeah, like, I'm just not going to talk to you for, like, 10 days.
Yeah.
And she's like, I miss you, and he's just like, what does he say? Like, you too or something?
You too? I was like, how dare you,
I'm
Holden?
like, say it back. What's wrong with you?
So there's sometimes, like, because Brian knows it'll, like, irritate me if we're, like, getting ready to go to bed or I'm laying down. And
like
I'm
last night?
No, not like last night, but we'll be, like, laying down in bed. I'll be like, love you, and he just goes, thanks. I'm like, oh, say it back! So then I just stay right there in his face until he says it back.
Just get a thanks.
Yeah, and I'm like, say it back to me.
I'm gonna start saying that now. Just like, I love you. I'll be like, thanks.
Thanks. Be like, I miss you.
Thanks.
It's like time for finals, I think it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they meet somewhere. Was it in the library or something? And they see each other, and he's like, oh, you've been spending all your time with Garrett. And she's like, let's just not talk about it. And so he says, can I ask you one question? Does he make you feel the way that I did?
I would have been
and
like,
then,
yep.
Well, and then she goes, you mean used, lied to, and manipulated? No, I can't say he does. And it's like, and then he says, okay, I'm glad you're happy then. And then he leaves, and she's like, you know what, Wes?
I'm not
happy without you. Like, why did he have to go and ruin everything? And so then it's been 3 weeks, and they haven't talked, and he's like, poor little heartbroken or whatever. And he goes, I know I told her I would respect her decisions, but in this particular instance, her decisions are bullshit. She wants me to renounce that. Oh, that's right! So then they meet back up, and she's like, they talk, and she says, he meets her at the bar, and then doesn't he kiss her or something?
Yeah, well, like, he follows her to the bathroom because she's, like, dancing with some guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I know she wants me to, like, follow her.
Yes.
So then, like, they make out in the hallway or whatever.
Right, well, and she's like, we're not getting back together, you know? And then just ignores that and starts kissing, and she goes, tell me this doesn't mean anything. And then and then they kiss more, and she says, Wes, tell me. He goes, lie to you? I promised you wouldn't do that. And then she says it was a mistake. And he's like, was it? Doesn't feel like a mistake. Was it because of Garrett? She goes, no. He's like, there was never anything between you, was there? And he goes, you let me think there was for weeks.
They've been broken up for a while.
For 3 weeks at this point. And then he's like, it's nice to know you haven't moved on, though. Like, he's mad. He's like, but also you still want me.
Yeah.
And he goes, tell me the truth. Do you still want space for me? Because space is the last thing I want when it comes to you. And she goes, I'm not ready to forgive you, West. And she's like, he goes, I really wish you wouldn't call me that. And he's like,
isn't she like, but that's your name?
Yeah. So anyway, then he says, I'd rather have you break my heart 100 times over than spend another week without you. And then she starts to like say something. He goes, no, I get it. You're still not ready. Just go find your girls and have fun tonight. Dance with whoever you want. I'll mind my own business. And she's like, I'm sorry. And whatever. So then Jade's upset. They're all upset. And her friends gave her bad advice because they're like, you know what you need to do to get over him? Sleep with his best friend. And she's like, that's not good advice. So anyway, she makes up with Shan, and she's like,
Cece was one of my ex-boyfriend's friends.
Well, good thing you didn't go there.
Well, kind of.
Well, oh my gosh. And so Shannon like tells her how it happened, whatever, and she's like, are you still interested in my brother? She goes, oh, absolutely not. It was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, that almost makes it worse. So
yeah.
She's like, so then she tells Shannon about the trade, and they're pissed and whatever. And then she realizes she's not actually ready to let him go. And then they decide they have to binge eat. So anyway, so then Theo ends up bringing her a coffee, leaves it with a note, a handwritten note, which I was like, that's the sweetest because he can't dictate that, and she knows that he's like dyslexic and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then
it is, though.
It is so sweet. So then he goes to the team and he says, to the captains, goes, we should stop doing the trade. They go, they say they're gonna stop doing it. The team decides they won't do it anymore. He leaves her another coffee the next day. With a note about going to the batting cages because they'd done that when they first met. She texts him and is like, I'll be there tomorrow. And
then there's the bonfire.
Yeah.
Like the end of the year thing that the cheerleaders
right,
do.
Yeah, so then he goes to that and he runs into Shannon and she looks and I love Shannon because she goes, oh hey, if it isn't my favorite scumbag. And I'm like, yeah.
Exactly.
And then he mentions that, the team's done with all that, and she's like, what do you mean? He goes, I wanted to tell Jade first, actually. And he's like, and then Shannon says, make it right with her, whatever. So then, he talks. So then he's sitting there, and then Cassidy drops into his lap, and he, tells her to get off. She doesn't, so he,
pushes her off.
Pushes her off. He's like, shoves her down, this is awesome. And then, she drops a beer, and it soaks his shoes, and he goes, you planning on picking that up? And she goes, why? You want me down on my knees again? And whatever, so then...
I freaking hate her so much.
And then she mentions that, she saw her earlier or whatever.
With Miller. Hitting all over each other.
Yes.
No, oh wait, no. It's she finds out or hears that Cass gave him a blowjob, but that didn't really happen.
Yes. So then, so Miller's talking to her, and it's like...
I like that he touches her, and she's like, rule number 1, never touch a girl without her permission. Yes. And I'm like, hell yes. Never, ever do that.
I was just dying because it's like, she says, she's like, that's not your business, because he asks if she and Wes are still strong or whatever. He's like, teammates share all the time. And she goes, that's gross.
Oh, because he like insinuates a threesome. He's like, you're hot, I'm hot, Wes is hot.
We'll all have fun. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go on it now. And so then she's like, no, whatever. And then Cassidy's there, and she goes, seen Wes tonight? He's like, so that's what Cassidy asked. And Jane goes, no, I haven't seen him. I didn't realize he was here. And Cassidy goes, oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot you two broke up for a moment. It's a good thing, though. He just had me on my knees earlier. And Shannon's like, that's enough. Everybody's like, that's enough. And she's like, I think I'm going to go. And so she leaves, and she sees West. And he's like, oh, I heard Miller was creeping up on you. And she goes, well, I heard Cassidy gave you a blowjob tonight. And he's like, are you kidding me? And she goes, no, it came straight from the horse's mouth. And she's like, I swear I didn't do it. She goes, I know. And she's like, are you still coming? Do you want to talk now? Whatever. And she says, they share an Uber home together, and it's like really awkward.
Yeah.
And they go to his room, and it like made me so sad because he goes, baby, there's so much more to say to you. And she starts first and goes, like, I trust you, I do. Like, I don't even want to break my trust again or whatever. And she goes, I also realized that I missed you so much. She goes, you're always on my mind. You should always know that I... And she goes, wait, And then she says, I think we should stay broken up. And I'm like, you are the worst, actually.
And then they end up, like, hooking up.
Yeah.
And then she pieces out because she is going back home for the summer.
Well, and I was so sad because, like, when he's like, you can't forgive me, she goes, no, I do forgive you. And he's like,
have to go.
So you trust me, you miss me, and you forgive me, but you don't want to be with me? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, I just don't think the timing is right. And he's like, the time? And he's like, I've been thinking about it every day for the past few weeks. Like, I don't give a shit about the timing. We'll make it work. She's like, we can't do that. And then he tells her that this is a cop-out. And she's like, it's not, though.
Yeah.
Like, she gets pissed.
She doesn't want to do the long-distance thing.
Yeah.
And, like, complicate things or distract him from getting drafted.
Right.
And everything.
So then, yeah. So then she's like, well, it'll be like a break. Not a break up. And I was like, this is too much Rachel Ross stuff going on, right? Yeah. So then he tells her they banned the trade, then they sleep together, and
then she leaves.
Right.
And then she's at, like, home in Washington missing him.
Yes.
And then Micah comes to visit, and she's excited about that, and
right.
they talk.
But it made me so sad because when he wakes up the next morning and she's gone, he's like, I know I told her I would respect her decisions, but in this particular instance, her decisions are bullshit. She wants me to renounce our relationship for the summer. She thinks we can work on ourselves and live a drama-free summer without jealousy, insecurities, and doubts. That's not reality. Instead, I'll be spending the whole summer pining over her, wishing I would have done more to change her mind, wishing I would have told her that I had been so in love with her that it burns, and that the idea of being apart feels like drowning. But I guess my feelings are pointless, because when I wake up the next morning, she's already gone. And I was like, sad, poor guy. Yeah, so then she goes home, and then she realizes that she messed up too.
Yeah.
She pushed him away, and her brother shows up. Well, so the whole point of her going home is her dad has,
MS, multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
That just sounded like a bunch of garbage in my head.
Her brother shows up, and then she's there for 2 weeks, and he's like gonna... Wes wants to, like, beat up Miller because he's being a turd again. And he's like yelling at Cam. He goes, I loved her, okay, but she clearly doesn't love me back, and now I'm just, like, done. I really have to be done. And whatever. And so then Cam's like, you should just sleep with somebody else. And then they go to the bar.
Yeah.
Right? And they're playing pool.
They get hit on by girls. One of them is a girl from earlier in the book. After they first, like, break up or something. And
it was just so funny because like the girls are over there and there's one of the girls and she's like, yeah, do you remember me? And he's like,
Zoe.
Calling her Zoe, and
she looks like Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, and she's like, that's not my name. And he's like,
it's Mia.
Right. And so then he's getting so mad. So then Jade decides that she's gonna go get Wes, and as she's leaving her house to go to the airport because her brother bought her a ticket, there is Wes coming up the driveway, and I was like, oh. And then he tells her, and he's like he decided that he was done being hurt, and that he got hit on by this girl, and she was like, I don't really need to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, if you went home with somebody and whatever, and he says, like, I'm trying to tell you I love you, I'm in love with you, and if I have to wait an entire summer for you to let your guard down, then so be it. The truth is I'm so far from done with you. And he goes, and then he kisses her, and he's like, turns out I passed English Lit. Like, I told you I'd come collect your kiss or whatever. And then she tells him, like, I'm in love with you, and I don't want to wait an entire summer to let my guard down. I was going to tell you this in person, but the truth is I'm so done with the breakup. And he's like, it was only a break. Not a breakup. Not a breakup. We were on a break. I know, and I was like, okay, well, now this kind of feels like we had springtime stuff because they broke up. But then there's, like, fault line stuff because they were on a break, not a breakup. Like,
a little bit of both.
And then they fly back together, and it's so sweet. And they just keep saying that they love each other. And we're like, oh.
And then he gets drafted to the NFL, to the Bobcats.
Which is where her brother works.
Plays.
Well, he gets paid as work.
Well, sure.
Yeah, so then that is where he ends up, which was lovely. And then he starts talking about how, and then he mentions, that, like, he says, I heard Amber Isle's a good place to get married. She's like, no. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And he goes, don't worry, in a few years I'll find the most perfect way to propose. When I finally get the ring on your finger, it's going to be because I deserve it. And she's like, oh, you really think so, niece? And then it's so cute. He ends with, yes, and don't think I won't come to collect. And I was like, well,
cute.
So, but I thought it was really good.
What's your rating? I already know. 5 out of 5.
Oh, I thought we were rating out of 10.
Oh, that was just my text last night, and you were like, oh, I was like, that's take it back. Rating. That was a high rating. 5 out of 5 then?
Probably. I mean, I like the story. I like the writing. I thought that it was like it was something different because, we've read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we've really read one like this where they're like, let's trade. But, we've done a lot of, like, the brother's best friend.
Right, yeah.
Or, like, best friend's little sister or, stuff like that.
Rivals, and this is just kind of like a super...
And this is just, like,
messed up situation. Yeah.
Right, type thing. So, yeah. I liked it.
I give it like a 4 out of 5 stars because I liked it, but Fault Line is still my favorite.
Right.
I just thought West was like kind of annoying. So like, just wasn't my favorite.
Right.
I do like Jade. I thought she was. I don't know. I just liked her character. But yeah, West just kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
I don't know why exactly. There's just something about him that I just like about him.
His name is Westman Cook, and he goes by West.
Yes. Well, his name is Theodore Westman Cook. But I liked it. I did. Too. But I know that like your rating, is it the Trade, Springtide, and then Fault Line, or is it Springtide, the Trade?
I really liked Springtide. Like, even though it was painful.
Yeah.
Even though it was painful. The things that I like about this one was, like, it's kind of a different story, but the thing that I like about Springtide is that, like, see the insecurity from his point of view, where he's like, I don't have, like, a six-pack and abs upon abs and stuff, He's a little more like, I don't really look like all these guys that you've been going after and stuff, right? So it was, like, kind of a little bit of a different take on him. But also, the fight was just...
Yeah, Fault Line is still my best.
Yeah.
Like, the best. It's my favorite. But yeah, I liked it. I think Kai did a great job. Again, I think she's, I don't know, I really like her. I'm glad that I stumbled upon her. I think it was like on TikTok or something, and that's how I found out about like Fault Line. And I was like, okay, this sounds like such a good book. It reminded me of C.W. Farnsworth.
And
that's your favorite. And so I was like, okay, we have to read this. And now we've read all of the books she's written so far.
Yes, and we get to do this giveaway.
I'm excited. And we're getting our own books.
And we're getting our own side books. I'm freaking pumped for
It'll be great. But yeah, it was a good book. I liked it.
Good book.
And now we're going to go eat some nachos because I'm freaking starving. We've been recording for 2.5 hours. And I probably have like an hour of stuff to like edit out. So it's going to be a great time editing as always.
But make sure you check out our Instagram and TikTok.
2 Girls, 1 Book Club.
And then you'll find out
Instagram
the winner.
Instagram is 2girls_1 Book Club.
And then we'll have the winner announced for the giveaway. Well, when this comes out.
Yeah, on the 15th of August. So
15th. Next week.
It'll
so
be
exciting.
Great.
And we got the stickers in the mail. They're super sweet. So
it's going to be a good time.
We're pumped. So I think that is it for this episode.
We'll see you guys next week with the Sad Girl book.
When Ashley and I fight.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
much over this book.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. So make sure you check us out